Hey everybody, Kevin here with a little something for your performance edge today. And we're going to talk about the biggest problem in your life. Think about it. What is the biggest problem in your life? You know, a lot of times when I'm sitting down and I'm thinking through my frustrations, I start going down this road of talking to myself about myself, and I'm thinking through and processing through. And a lot of times hidden in the midst of our dissatisfactions, in the midst of our defeats, you know, in the midst of all of the things that we struggle through and try to understand, the common denominator in it is me. It's you. We are the common denominator. Now, here's the thing. If we're the biggest problem of all of our problems, we got to be kind of excited because now we know what the solution is to those problems, because the solution is also me. And so the question is what does that look like? Because what's the visual component of unpacking this invisible? And I believe it's in two things. I think there's a version of us, and I'm going to call it, experience, success level 1. This version of us is the smaller circle, this part of our story that we're living and we're working through. And then there's this other part of this story, this other thing that we aspire to, which is a much bigger circle, and it's a bigger story. But we are not sure how to get across that bad boy. We're just looking at this thing going, how do I get there? How do I unpack what I need to unpack? And we keep bumping into ourselves in order to try to figure out how do we build a bridge between both of them. And what I want to share with you today is this. I want to call it the Epiphany Bridge, because the Epiphany Bridge is the level of self-reflection and self-analysis that you go through, the level of conflict, the level of struggle, that you begin to bit by bit begin to build that bridge between the smaller story that you're trying to shove all this other stuff. By the way, we get on social and all these other kind of things, and we shove everybody's outsides into our insides. In other words, we're really good at comparing our insides to everybody's outsides. So we try shoving that into our circle, and then it really explodes the whole discontent thing, right? And really, it's in the epiphany of moving beyond asking why, but doing a what. And in the what, we're bumping into our limitations. But that's when we have that epiphany. And the epiphany is that ability to seek guidance, to seek help, to talk to somebody, to seek a mentor, join a mastermind group, get involved in something where you get that level of synergy to help you understand what the next what is. You know, it's that, hey, I got this thing. I'm building this bridge to this bigger story. And it's that decision to kind of go deep and understand yourself, and in the form of some level of self-repair that occurs on that Epiphany Bridge, you advance. It's not without struggle, and you have to honor the struggle. That's the whole idea. But here's the thing I know. When you have clarity about what that is, your energy will grow, and that energy will give you the level of courage that you need to take that action, to do that what. And when you take that level of courage, now the ability to afford movement or momentum lives there because it's productive. And in the other side of that productivity is influence. In other words, it draws people to somebody who's trying to make and live a bigger story. And it's in the process of that struggle that formulates so much of the inner frameworks, the inner kind of strength that we really kind of, that really allows us to be able to really hold on to that bigger story. It really allows us to be able to, through that level of self-examination, each step of the Epiphany Bridge, as you cross over, each little epiphany that you have and this thing you work on, this thing you develop, and that you bring more people around and get more clarity around energy and courage and productivity, your influence, it just starts growing this bridge. It's a strong bridge. And then you get into that bigger story. It's awesome. It's amazing. You're going like, wow, it's an adventure. And guess what? You will discover that you're in over your head. And this is the thing I learned about being a man of faith, that being over my head is exactly where God wants me to be, because then I need him more than I can do my own jam. You know what I mean? Like, it puts me right where I need to be, and that's on my knees. And so this is a really cool journey that you need to go on. And listen, many of us, our stories are just too small, and we're going into a new year, and it's time to be thinking about that bigger story. And I'm not talking about a vision board, okay? I'm not talking about any of that other whacked out stuff. I'm talking about, hey, look, there's this thing. If I don't do it, it won't get done. This is the year I do it. And as I lean into this thing, I'm going to move beyond my dissatisfactions. I'm going to understand I'm the problem. I'm also the solution. And I'm going to seek the level of epiphanies along the way to build a bridge strong enough to bear weight of truth so that I can experience the overwhelming and fun adventure of this bigger story that I don't know how it's going to come about, but I do know that if I'm there, I'm going to figure it out. So, hey, buddy, this is so much fun. I love doing this. I love challenging you. Do some damage. It's 2025. Do not take your foot off the gas. It's real easy to get in the beginning of the year and get all weird and sideways with what's going on today. Don't stop working on you. Do some damage out there. Always remember, when you see the invisible, you become unstoppable.